Hello, television family. Thanks for starting your Wednesday with us. It's a pretty good looking morning. It is the 18th day of February, 2026. I am Dan Kuntz. A little on the cool side, 24 degrees here in the big city. If you don't have a carport or a garage, you'll be scraping your windshield this morning, but we're due for quite a bit of sunshine today, but the weather is still going to be rather unsettled. Spigots of snow today, not out of the question. Yesterday never really got going. Did you notice that? We're supposed to see some afternoon sun breaks and temperatures upper 30s. Neither one of those things happened. We had a little snow squall that came through mid-afternoon, and we only got to 34 degrees. It is still winter. It took a while for winter to get here, but it is kind of here. We got all the forecast details coming up. We'll eventually gradually warm back up to normal by the time we get to the weekend. In fact, we're looking at probably more of a rain event than snow by the time we get to the early part of next week. Weather forecast is coming up. News is coming up. How did the local high school teams that you follow do in the playoffs, the district playoffs? We'll let you know when we get to sports. That's coming up. We'll have the obscure holiday, today in history, some celebrity birthdays, an opinion from Mike Mad Dog Mignotti, and the world premiere of a documentary you don't want to miss is tomorrow night at the Numerica Performing Art Center. And the documentary is about the Numerica Performing Art Center. Celebrates its 25th anniversary. North 40 Productions put together a really cool documentary. It's called Precious Little Theater. Because North 40 did it, it is by definition good. Jeff Ostenson is one of the producers of the movie and one of the co-owners of North 40 Productions, and Colleen Frye is one of the producers as well. They sat down with their very own Josey Meats to talk about the movie, which you can go see with the world premiere tomorrow night at the Numerica Pack. It is going to be really cool. I've seen quite a bit of the film. It's well done. It's one of the nice things about being in media. You get to see things in advance. That's about the only nice thing in media. It is sunrise. Let's do it. Camera time, folks. There is the Wenatchee Valley. We did have that little snow squall come yesterday afternoon. Didn't last very long, about 20 minutes, and then it was gone, Johnson. You can see the snow line. You can see Birch Mountain, and yeah, they closed the road again. We'll have that when we get to the news. But outside of that, clear skies. Sunrise just about now, 7:01. Sunset tonight, 5:29. That's an additional 3 minutes and 15 seconds more daylight than we had yesterday, and we actually are going to have daylight today. 10 hours and 29 minutes of it. As a matter of fact, from high top Hay Canyon, we look over Cashmere, looking back towards the Wenatchee Valley. Cashmere High boys and girls basketball teams, they're done. They both lost yesterday. It was a rough night for them, but now they start concentrating on spring sports, I suppose. Let's see what Slide Ridge looks like. This is cool. We haven't used this camera in a long time. This is high above Lake Chelan, looking out, we believe, towards Manson. It's kind of hard to tell because all you can see is that little abutment sticking out. Normally, if we have that Slide Ridge and it's clear, you could see all three of the lakes that are just behind the Manson area. You can see all of Manson, Wapato Point. You can't see anything. I'm not really 100% sure what direction that's even pointed in. That could actually even be the Butte for all I know, but can't see anything, but it's still a great view from Slide Ridge, which is basically at Lake Chelan, high above the state park there. And there's the Rock Island camera looking back. Well, you can pretty much see all of Rock Island. No golfing today at the Rock Island Golf Course. They don't let you walk on the greens when it's frosty. There's Mission Ridge, who got some much needed snow. They've had a rough go of it this year, Mission Ridge. Haven't had a lot of snow, and it hasn't been the best of skiing conditions as well. You can see Malaga, the Stamil Basin, Jump Off Ridge, Mission Ridge. It's beautiful. That's Rock Island camera there. The Rock Island line, by the way, I'm told is a mighty fine line, and the Weavers would not lie to me. Did I remember to tell you? Yes, I did. I did remember to tell Mac that we have a slide for you. Not a lot of snow here in the Wenatchee Valley. We're going to see some sunshine, but if you're heading up into the Cascades or over to the Idaho Panhandle, or even Spokane, maybe get 2 or 3 inches, basically on the I-90 ribbon between Ritzville and Spokane, some hit and miss snow showers. Stevens Pass, I-90, you're not going to have too much trouble getting over those, folks. And it doesn't look like Blewit's really going to get much snow at all. This is through for a couple more hours this morning, and then we're done with that. We're here in the valley. We're going to have quite a bit of sunshine for the most part. Here we go. From our friends at Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. We'll see if we'll get to that 39-degree mark. But we are going to have quite a bit of sunshine. And with the longer days, the sun is higher up in the sky. We'll have a warming trend. That 39-degree mark will be pretty late, though, in the afternoon, around 5 or so, just before sunset. But quite a bit of sunshine. But there is still a slight chance of a little hit-and-miss snowflake or a raindrop in some of our viewing areas. Mostly cloudy tonight. We'll have the blanket on, so we'll get down to about 25, which is warmer than it is right now, but there is a little bit of light snow possible on Thursday. We were having it when we talked yesterday at this time. They were talking about maybe a pretty slick Thursday morning commute with some snow just about this time tomorrow. That's probably not going to happen now. Doesn't look that way anyway. Pretty cloudy Thursday. Sun's taking the day off. High of 34. Sun will be back working on Friday with a high of 35. Keep in mind our normal high this time of the year is 42, so we are below normal for not only our afternoon highs, but our overnight lows. As far as actual snow, 30% chance Saturday night. Snow level is at 1,200 feet. Snow level Sunday, 1,700 feet. Snow level Sunday night, 2,200 feet. So now we're looking at rain, and it'll be close to 3,000 feet for the snow level on Monday night, and Tuesday. So it's more of a rain event by the time we get to Sunday as we start seeing some warmer air and longer days. And we're almost done with February. We only got 10 days left before March comes a-knocking. Speaking of knocking, knock on the coffee maker, get it warmed up, grab your cup of coffee, grab your waffle, grab your pancakes, grab your bacon and your eggs and your hash browns. Don't eat all of that. You'll be all logy and you'll just want to go back to bed. So in other words, I would recommend just grabbing your cup of coffee, coming back in 2 minutes, and we'll do the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you'd never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
It's a beautiful morning, a little chilly, 25 degrees, lots of sunshine today, upper 30s, clouds tonight, clouds Thursday, stray snowflake or raindrop not out of the question. A gradual warming trend, and I mean gradual, by the time we get to the weekend. It's at 9 minutes after the hour. One man is dead after a police-involved shooting. This happened northeast of Moses Lake on Monday evening. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says 5 of its deputies discharged their firearms during a confrontation with a suspect on Road L9 Northeast. That's where the man allegedly emerged from a barn with a rifle and aimed it at law enforcement. The deputies had arrived shortly after 6 Monday evening at the rural property alongside police officers from Moses Lake. It was part of an open investigation. The man, identified as 33-year-old Aaron Amon, was pronounced dead at the scene despite attempts to resuscitate him. No police officers were injured. The sheriff's office says the Moses Lake officers did not fire their weapons. The Central Basin Investigative Team, that's the multi-agency group that reviews police shootings in Grant, Adams, and Kittitas counties, have opened an investigation into that incident. A mother and her son from Grand Coulee charged with providing cannabis to multiple juveniles in the area. Douglas County prosecutors have charged 50-year-old Jason Lowe's and his mother, 68-year-old Susan Jane Hudson, with distributing or attempting to distribute cannabis to at least 4 people under the age of 18, plus drug possession with intent to deliver. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says Lowe's and Hudson provided both cannabis in leaf form as well as baked goods made with THC to young people who visited their home. Deputy Jacob Lewis was the lead investigator. The case led to the department to seize cannabis plants and other materials from the residents. Lowe's has been in the Chelan County Jail since last week. Hudson was charged by summons in order to appear in court next month. The Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center's application to renovate and expand their facility is now under review by the city. Our media partners at the Wenatchee World reports that the museum's project consists of constructing a new 2-story building that would connect the 2 existing historic buildings on the property under a conditional use permit from the city of Wenatchee. The work would include interior renovations along with the new structure. The existing sky bridge would be replaced and vehicle access from Mission Street and Yakima Street would be eliminated. The museum has raised more than $5 million for the project from the city and from state funding. Public comments on the application is accepted through February 26th, and a public hearing is scheduled for March 24th at the Wenatchee City Council chambers. If it gets the green light, the construction is expected to run from this July through November of next year. They've been talking about this for a long time. It's finally going to happen. A long-discussed road improvement project in Manson gets underway in the not too distant future. Totem Pole Road has been ranked as the top capital improvement priority for Chelan County since 2017, not counting those that involved bridge reconstruction. County commissioners signed off on a $2.1 million contract this week with La Riviera Construction of Idaho. They want to widen the 2-mile road by 10 feet between Wapato Way and Fury Street. They also want to improve the drainage and add sidewalks and gutters. That work is now scheduled to begin this spring. A second construction phase, which is yet to be funded, would improve Totem Pole's route to Manson High School. 5 surplus Link Transit vehicles are going to go to local nonprofits to help expand transportation services in north central Washington. It's a surplus program that's meant to address transportation gaps for seniors, veterans, people with disabilities, and other underserved communities. Eligible organizations for the program include nonprofits and public agencies that serve Link, and Link serves them. This year's recipients, the Brave Warrior Project, the Chelan Boys and Girls Club, the Chelan Senior Center, the Lake Wenatchee Fire and Rescue Organization, and Purpose Boxing. The organizations will use the vans for services like providing rides to medical appointments, emergency evacuation help, inclusive transportation, and more. Washington State is looking for federal help in its cleanup from December's atmospheric river event. That series of rain and windstorms washed out roads and highways and damaged other critical infrastructure all over the state, including, of course, Highway 2 through the Tumwater Canyon, which was closed for a couple of months. Governor Bob Ferguson said yesterday he's asking the U.S. Federal Emergency Management Agency to help pay for the bill, the estimated bill, $182 million.
So in terms of damage assessments that we are submitting to FEMA, this historic flooding resulted in, we believe, the largest dollar amount of public infrastructure damage in Washington State in more than 4 decades, and that's counting for inflation. So this is obviously a significant amount of money. The specific preliminary damage assessment that we're submitting is $182.3 million, 182.3. One thing I want to emphasize and underscore is this is a preliminary number. We have to meet a certain deadline for FEMA. So this number will increase as time goes on. This is very normal. So just as one example of many, we still have roads that are under snow, for example, that we still need to assess the total amount. Cost of repairs could increase as time goes on. So that number will change and will undoubtedly go up as time goes on. But the number that we're sending in is $182.3 million. We're also applying today for another FEMA program. This is called the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. This is an important program that helps fund projects to prepare for future disasters. So, for example, building flood walls, for example. So the damage in many parts of our state, as I've mentioned many times, would have been even worse, significantly worse, without infrastructure to protect against the flooding. So it's just one example in Mount Vernon. We had a media event up there. A flood wall was recently constructed in Mount Vernon just in the last decade. It's clear that flood wall saved downtown from being flooded and saved an awful lot of pain and suffering cost to many Washingtonians. So if approved for that, Washington will qualify for grant funding up to 20% of our total damage assessment. Sorry for a lot of numbers, but in this case, that would be a maximum of $36.6 million. So in other words, 20% of our $182 million, that's what we can seek for that fund that helps us do preventative work going forward. So just wanted to be clear about that. We're also working with the Federal Highway Administration to get funding for repairs to highways in the state. This is a separate process from today's application. So the preliminary damage assessment total does not include, the $182 million does not include damage to federal highways or some of our state highways. So, for example, you're very familiar with Highway 2 and the impacts there and undoubtedly the significant costs there. Our application, the $182 million, does not include Highway 2. So it's confusing on which ones are part of ours and which ones are not. These are just the rules that we're going by. If you have a question about a specific highway and you want to know if it's part of our request or not, just ask Brianna. We can get that answered for you. And what I also mentioned is of the $182 million, the overall request we have, we are eligible for assistance of up to 75% of that number. That's the maximum that we can, if granted, that we can receive. So again, I realize I'm giving you a lot of numbers, but 182 is the request we have. We're eligible for 75% of that. So 25% will fall upon the state and local governments to cover, even if we're granted. I really appreciate the strong bipartisan support for this. I know there's a letter, once again, as there was for the previous request from bipartisan leadership in the state legislature. We have a similar request for a letter from our congressional delegation. They did that last time. I'm optimistic they'll do that again. Business community is writing letters, Association of Cities. There's just a lot of strong support for this. So I feel we're really putting our best foot forward, and I'll be working hard to make sure that we receive the dollars that we desperately need to really address the significant infrastructure needs that we're facing.
And the dirt portion of Birch Mountain Road closed for the season. The dirt road is closed seasonally. They want to protect the roadway during thaw and freeze and thaw and freeze. It's not good to have cars when that's going on. There are a number of seasonal closures in Chelan County every year. Of course, Horse Lake Road, Oklahoma Gulch Road above Antioch. The idea is to protect the roads and the mule deer that hang around this time of the year. Horse Lake Road was closed earlier than usual because of the big rains that we had in December. The roads are scheduled to reopen on April 1st. And now you know what the heck is going on around here. A show originally titled What the Heck is Going On Around Here, subsequently changed to the news, will come your way tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Stay in the loop of what's happening around here. You do. We discovered that quite some time ago. People watch the news. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on television. If that doesn't work or you're unplugged like a lot of people, YouTube. Our newscast will be up and running on our YouTube page right around 5 o'clock. We stream 24/7, 365 when it's working by going to ncwlife.com. We're on Roku. We're on Apple TV+. We're on the Amazon Fire Stick. We have X and Instagram and Facebook. And I think we're coming out with a recipe book, too. I don't know. News at ncwlife.com, by the way, is our email address. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up at Antioch Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
Whether you're a new homeowner or looking to update, Save Mart in Wenatchee has everything you need. From top-of-the-line appliances to comfy mattresses and stunning furniture that fits your style, they have it all under one roof. With great deals and expert customer service, you'll find the perfect pieces for your space and your budget. Save Mart, your local destination for quality appliances, mattresses, and furniture at prices you'll love.
You build more than projects. You build what communities rely on. When the job site runs on results, put Kubota to work. Backed by expert service and support from your local Kubota dealer. Right now, bring home select Kubota KX Series with 0% financing available or save up to $4,800.
21 after the hour in sports. We'll start out with the men's college basketball schedule for tonight. Pretty light schedule. They're getting towards the end of their regular season. Number 11 Gonzaga will be in the city by the bay. They're taking on the Dons in San Francisco. That's on ESPN2 tonight at 8 o'clock. And Pacific will be in Pullman. I don't know if there's a song about Pullman. If there is, I'm not familiar with it. That's at 6:30 on ESPN+. All right. High school playoffs, the 4A district tournament had their play-in games yesterday. Wenatchee is done. Eastmont is not. Wildcats defended their home court. They knocked off the Sunnyside Grizzlies 70-55 in a play-in game. West Valley eliminated the Panthers 55-43. Eastmont will travel to West Valley tomorrow in a loser-out game. In the District 5 1A tournament, it's done for Cashmere. They went to overtime. Still, both teams combined didn't even get to 70 points. Natchez Valley eliminated the Bulldogs in overtime 35-33. Cascade's season also comes to an end. Wapato knocked off the Kodiaks there 63-41. In the District 5 1B girls tournament, Soap Lake and Aniat, their seasons came to an end. Moses Lake Christian Covenant defeated Soap Lake. Wilson Creek defeated Aniat. Moses Lake Christian Covenant and Wilson Creek will play Saturday afternoon at Wenatchee High School in a loser-out game. That was the girls. Now it's the boys. Again, play-in games in the Columbia Basin Big Nine to make it to the 4A tournament. For the Wenatchee Panthers, their season came to an end. They lost on the road to Sunnyside 61-45. In the other side of the bracket, Davis beat Eisenhower 67-64. In the boys District 5 1A tournament, Chelan is alive, Cashmere is not. Chelan knocked off Connell 71-65. Wapato eliminated Cashmere 52-40. These two teams, the two winners that you see there, Chelan and Wapato, they will move on to the next round in state. They will play a seeding game in Chelan tomorrow. And in the boys District 5 1B tournament, there are games tonight. These are all loser-out games. You lose, you're done. You win, you move on. In the District 5 tournament, Garden City Academy will be at Aniat at 5:30. Wilson Creek will travel to Waterville-Mansfield at 7 o'clock. Again, both of those games are loser-out games. Well, if the Wenatchee Wild hope to make the WHL playoffs, they're going to have a hard road to hoe. They're going to take on the best teams in the league, unfortunately, over the last 13 games. The Wild are currently 11th in the 12-team division and the 12-team conference in the Western Conference. The two division champions make the playoffs, and then numbers 3 through 8 make the playoffs. And the voice of the Wild, Austin Drade, reminded me yesterday that the Wild, before their season is over with 13 games left to play, have to play teams in 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place.
Victoria's coming up. We got another couple of games against Kelowna. Everett we'll see not only on March 1st, but back-to-back at the end of the season. And we've got a couple more road games up in Prince George. We haven't seen them on the road yet, so we'll make that trip. And we'll finish a 4-5 road trip week that starts in Edmonton and Red Deer. So a lot coming up for this group. A couple of really busy stretches in there. Nothing that's unmanageable, but certainly some busy weeks coming up for these guys, and some formidable teams on the way.
There are only 13 games left, by the way, and only 4 of those at the Town Toyota Center. The home stretch begins this weekend with back-to-back games in Victoria against the Royals, and those are just some of the games that people are playing. at 25 minutes after the hour. If you're watching online in Gambia, happy Independence Day to you folks in Gambia. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget that. It's also Ash Wednesday, can't forget that. National Battery Day, it's National Pluto Day. Pluto was discovered on this date in 1930, then was demoted in 2006 without any input from the people in Pluto. But no, we're going to indulge in a little wine. It's National Drink Wine Day today, or for a lot of my friends, Wednesday. They believe it was about 9,000 years ago and about 7,000 BC in China when wine was first discovered. That's when early humans consumed fermented grapes and said, hey, this is kind of cool. In 880 BC, the Greeks began to actually manufacture wine, and then they began to perfect it. And then, of course, Rome conquered the Greeks, and the Romans took over the wine making, and it became the staple of Italy. And then along comes Catholicism, and the sacramental wine became a part of that. By the Middle Ages, wine was all over Europe and Asia and everywhere else. And now, of course, it's pretty much everywhere. In fact, grapes are the most planted, grown, harvested, and cultivated fruit in the world. There are 10,000 different varieties of grapes in the world. No grapes, no wine. And one of the reasons that wine was very popular way back in the day is that fermented wine in bottles, you probably didn't get sick. If you just drank water back in the Middle Ages, you ran the risk of dysentery and diarrhea and God knows what. But wine, fermented wine, killed the germs. You didn't have to worry about getting sick. And the tradition of toasting, when you get together with a group of friends and the host sips the wine, comes from the tradition to prove to his guests that the wine didn't have any poison in it. That's why they say drink to your health. Top growing wine regions, France, #1, big surprise there. In fact, France, Spain, and Italy, 1, 2, and 3, and then California by itself produces the 4th most amount of wine in the world, and then China comes in at #5. I like a good cab. The occasional Merlot, that's about it. But anyway, drink up, that's what I say. National Drink Wine Day today, which is celebrated every Wednesday. It's 28 minutes after the hour. There is Elm Farm Ollie. There she is. She made history on this date 96 years ago today, February 18th, 1930. They put Elm Farm Ollie in an airplane and they flew her from Bismarck, Missouri, across the state to St. Louis. Not only did Elm Farm Ollie become the first cow ever to fly in an airplane, they took the trouble of actually milking Ollie during the flight. That's why, obviously, today is a very historic day indeed. The very first cow to fly in an airplane. I had to scratch real hard to find stuff for today. And then there's this, the deadliest mass murder in this state's history, thought to be the deadliest robbery in this state's, certainly in this state's history, maybe of all time. You remember this if you were around. I know I was. The deadliest mass murder in this state's history. 13 people shot to death at the Wah-Mee massacre in Seattle in Chinatown. It was a private gambling club. 14 people shot in the head. 13 of them died. One of them survived and testified at trial to the 3 gunmen who committed the crime, the Wah-Mee massacre, a notorious day in this state's history 43 years ago today. For the first time ever, a NASCAR race was televised nationwide live from beginning to end on this date in 1979. It was the Daytona 500, and it was the most important Daytona 500 of all time because everybody watched. It was a thrilling, exciting race. CBS did not think anybody was going to watch guys drive fast and turn left. Boy, were they wrong. What a race it was, the 1979 Daytona 500. On the backstretch of the final lap, Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison collided. They were going neck and neck for the championship. On the backstretch, they collided. They spun out into the infield. The king, Richard Petty, passed them both to win his record 6th Daytona 500. In the meantime, while Richard Petty was crossing the finish line, Donnie Allison, his brother Bobby Allison, and Cale Yarborough got into a fist fight on the infield, which was also nationally televised. That was on this date in 1979, and an entirely different Daytona 500. It's hard to believe it was 25 years ago today. I remember watching this on television like it was yesterday. February 18th, 2001. Dale Earnhardt killed at Daytona 500 and a crash on the final lap. I remember that. Ooh, what a day that was. It's the bottom of the hour, celebrity birthdays for a period from about 1964 to about 1990. George Kennedy was in every movie ever made. I think it was a requirement in Hollywood. If you were going to make a mainstream movie, you had to cast George Kennedy. I'm pretty sure that was the case. He won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in Cool Hand Luke. You remember him? He was Paul Newman's nemesis at the start of the movie, and they were buddies at the end of the movie. He was in all 4 airport films. He was in Earthquake, the airplane movies, Fly to the Phoenix, The Sons of Katie Elder, The Dirty Dozen, a bunch of westerns, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, The Iger Sanction. He was everywhere, George Kennedy was. He was born to this date 101 years ago today. Toni Morrison, one of the greatest novelists this country has ever produced. I'm not a novel reader. I've read Steinbeck and a few of the classics. Not really a contemporary. I prefer nonfiction books when I read, and I read quite a bit. But I did read Beloved, and I had to read it twice because I wasn't quite catching it. Second time, I got it. Winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature, Presidential Medal of Freedom, the legendary Toni Morrison, born in the state in 1931, and the woman who did not break up the Beatles. The Beatles were already in that process. She may have accelerated a little bit, but it wasn't her fault. Yoko Ono, John Lennon's widow, is 93 years old today, living a peaceful life in a farm in upstate New York. Happy 93rd to Yoko. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They got a brand new logo, but their service remains unchanged. It's good. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are the best. And don't forget, eventually, summertime's coming, and your heat pump is going to switch from heating your home in the winter to cooling your home in the summer. Make sure it can handle the transition. Your first call always to Alpine Air. Going to take a break. Mike McNarty's got an opinion, and then a really cool interview. Our own Josey Meats sat down with 2 of the producers of the upcoming documentary that makes its world premiere tomorrow at the Numerica Performing Art Center. The topic is the Numerica Performing Art Center. It's celebrating its 25th anniversary. Jeff Ostenson from our North 40 Productions and one of the producers, Colleen Frye, joined Josey to talk about a really cool movie that you want to see tomorrow. That's coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life channel.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I recently posted on Facebook that DJT has not only stated his intent to deport American citizens, but has actually done so. A couple of folks denied that our bully-in-chief actually did deport Americans and asked for proof. Well, when proof was supplied, they still denied that any American citizens had ever been deported. However, I am also aware that some of these folks believe the big lie that the 2020 election was stolen from that man. So this is an interesting phenomenon in our political environment, how it has just been exacerbated. Now, based on their political beliefs, folks will believe that what has been proven is false while denying the truth of proven events. Now, what this says about our society, I'm just afraid to imagine. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
We've all dreamt of moving somewhere new. But what are home prices like? How are the schools? What are the state income taxes? And how's the weather? For all your questions, the Coldwell Banker Move Meter has answers. It's the only tool that lets you compare cities by cost and quality of living, so you can get a better idea of what your dream looks like and start making it come true. The Move Meter, only from Coldwell Banker. Live well with Coldwell.
The Numerica Performing Art Center is celebrating its 25th year this year. To celebrate the artistic nexus of our community, North 40 Productions has put together a documentary called Precious Little Theater. Joining me today is Jeff Ostenson and Colleen Frye, producers. How are you guys today?
Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us, Josey.
Yeah, definitely. So to start things off, do you just kind of want to tell me about like the genesis of this project, how it all kind of started, of like, this is going to be my next film project that we're going to invest a year of our lives into?
Yeah, it really started about 18 months ago, and I sat down with Katie Grove, who was the executive director of the Performing Arts Center at the time, and asked her, what her plans were, and did she have any big plans for this amazing theater and its 25th anniversary. And she had plans for it, but I felt like a film would be a great idea, because not only does that celebrate the moment, a film can stick around for years to come. So we talked a little bit about it. There was some interest there. Certainly the Performing Arts Center doesn't have the financial wherewithal to just fund something like that. So I knew going into it that it was going to be a project that I was going to have to figure out how to fund. So we took a little while to figure out whether or not we wanted to do that in North 40. And about a year ago in January, we decided to pull the trigger and do it.
And then how did you get roped into it all, Colleen?
Well, so Jeff and I had the pleasure of serving on the board for the Numerica PAC for many years. So we already had our passion, our love and support for that organization. We were getting together for coffee one morning, and he thought, I have this fun idea. Do you want to join me? And of course I was all in, because we really care about what the Numerica PAC does for our community, and this film, Precious Little Theater, was the perfect way to showcase that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Colleen's a perfect producing partner, because not only does she care about the PAC, but she knows all the people, and she knows how the PAC works, and she knows the ex-board members and all the patrons, and so she's very familiar with the organization, as am I. But that made it pretty easy for her to jump in and right away and get to work.
In the film, you talk with 4 local directors. What went into kind of deciding these are the people to talk to, and then also how did their personalities shape the film?
Well, I think maybe to step backwards, originally what our intent was to create a film that shared the impact of having a theater like this in your community. And then I started to talk to some of the folks who've been around 25 years ago, 30 years ago when they were building it. And I did get a little pressure to create a film about the history of the PAC and how it was built. And so we actually decided to make 2 films. So we are making 2 films. We have, the first film is called Miracle on the Avenue, which is a kind of a nod to Wilfred Woods, who wrote an essay about how the PAC was built. And that really is a historical kind of Ken Burns style approach of just, this is how it happened. This is what these people did. They volunteered their time. They overcame obstacles, and they worked very hard for a long time to raise the money to build this precious little theater. So we tell that story in about 15 minutes, and then we have another film called Precious Little Theater, and it's about 40 minutes long. And what it does is it really shares the impact of having a theater on your community. And it's it certainly is specific to Wenatchee and to our Numerica Performing Art Center, but it's more about, if you had a theater like this, this is what you might expect could happen in your community as well. So probably should say that first, and then to answer your question, what we wanted to do was to find different groups of people who use the PAC. So, there are organizations who would call the Performing Arts Center their home, right? They all have all their concerts or their shows there. The Symphony is a great example. The Columbia Chorale is a great example. The Follies is a great example. So we went out and kind of looked at the whole map of all those folks, all those different organizations who use the PAC as their home. And we started kind of looking at making sure that there were diversity there. We wanted to make sure that there was dance involved and that there was musical instruments involved, that there was performance art as far as musicals and things like that. So, then there's the sort of the high level musical, which is usually the Apple Blossom, and then there's the Follies, which is made up of just a bunch of local folks kind of showing up. So we wanted to make sure there was just a really big mix to represent just all the different facets. And we wanted youth, and we wanted people who were, older, and we wanted, gender diversity and ethnic diversity as well.
Yeah, I would definitely say that although they are 2 separate films with the more historical anniversary piece and then the Precious Little Theater piece that goes into the future, both pieces showcase our community. They showcase how our community comes together to really make something happen. And then as a result of investing in ourselves and what we have here, our community creates connections. We have experiences that are incredible and heartfelt and just turn us into really great neighbors and friends and people who continue to thrive as a result. And so it's kind of fun to see that while they're distinct films, they do still just highlight how amazing our community is because we have this sort of activity that exists here.
And so, as you said, you started, like, the kind of pull the trigger was about 18 months ago.
A year ago.
Yeah. And at that point, it was, you had all this opportunity through things like the Apple Blossom musical, Hot August Nights, of course Nutcracker, and now most recently the Follies, to capture these things happening at the PAC. What challenges were posed by introducing filmmaking into such a loud performance space?
Well, it was a challenge, and I think you hit it right on the head there, that if you want to make a film about something like the Performing Arts Center, and you need a year to do it because there's so many there are so few opportunities, you know, and you can't just show up in 1 month and say, oh, we're going to film this month and it's going to be done. So we filmed with the symphony last February, so a year ago, and we filmed, you know, with the musical in the Apple Blossom musical in the spring. We filmed with Hot August Nights in the summertime. So we were able to kind of schedule this out over a year to make sure we caught all the different things we needed to film. But to answer your question about how do you interrupt and how do you get involved, so it's really hard, especially a musical, to put a camera out there on stage while the folks are acting, because it's very distracting for not only the actors but for the people watching. We chose dress rehearsals. So we went out there and we filmed mostly dress rehearsals because they're in costume, they're doing the thing, but they're certainly going to be okay with us, you know, moving around a camera as they're doing it because there's no audience. And yes, it was distracting. Some people were giving us some odd looks as we were out there with the camera, but it was a much better time. Especially with the symphony, for example. I mean, we got cameras right under Nick as he was conducting, and we wouldn't have been able to do that necessarily when they were actually performing. Right. So we chose, that's what we chose. We did rehearsals, we did the dress rehearsal, and then we would get some filming accomplished during the actual performances, but much more out to the side and out in the audience perspective.
Right. Through the interviews that you did, and it might be hard to pinpoint one, but could you pinpoint one moment for me where it was like your mission for making this film was reinforced by what someone said?
Oh goodness. I think it's showcased throughout, definitely. And maybe that's why I keep coming back to the power of just performance and the power of our community, because every interview really shows how someone's been touched by being on our stage and sharing of themselves because of our Numerica Performing Art Center. I don't know, would you pick out one, Jeff?
Oh, there's not one that stands, I mean, there are many that stand out to answer your question. I mean, I remember interviewing Jane Hensel, who unfortunately passed away in December, but I was able to interview her, and she was 99 years old when she was interviewed, and she was integral in creating the Numerica Pack. And just at 99, just the joy that she was expressing about the theater, and just about how proud she was that 25 years ago they were able to open the doors. That was really cool to see. You know, I think one of the big reasons we wanted to make the historical film was to inspire people to dream big and you know, to dare to do great things and to build things like the Numerica Pack. And you know, the people in our community back in the early 90s decided to do that, and we all benefit from that, and that's an amazing thing. But it was so great to see her still at 99, just marveling at the wonder of having a place like that. And I think, you know, we, in the Precious Little Theater film, we intentionally talk to folks who have overcome something really big in their lives, and how theater was a big part of that. So I think about interviews with some people who had some health issues and really struggled with that, and how after they were kind of through, it was actually cancer, they came back after that and joined a musical, and it really changed their outlook on how they were going to recover. And it's a very heartfelt and a very emotional scene, but to me, it showed just how profound the healing power of being involved in the arts can be.
As audiences see it and walk out, what conversations do you hope that it sparks, or if that audience member isn't someone particularly involved or a patron of the pack, do you hope that it shifts in them? Sorry, that question had a long tail.
No, I've got two answers to that, but you want to go first?
One of the things that we're really hoping is a result of this film is that it is something the Numerica Pack and our community can use to continue promoting arts in our community. That is this like launching pad for us to maintain that support and connection. And that exists whether you're a season ticket holder at the Numerica PAC, or if you just come to the shows that you feel truly connected to, but just continuing to support and be a part of that, because it is exposure, it's new experiences, it gives people the opportunity to see something and feel something maybe they haven't otherwise done before. And so that's one of our key hopes, that this film really just reinforces that network.
Yeah, I think for me, the two big goals of these films are, one, get involved. I mean, I hope that people watch these films and feel like if they're not part of the arts, that they should get involved at whatever capacity they can, whether that's to perform, whether that's to join a dance group, whether that's to, just get involved, whether that's Follies, and if not, go to a show. Like, just somehow connect to that community. And I think that's fundamentally, you walk out of there wanting to be a part of it, and I think that's great. And the second thing is, very specifically, I want the PAC, the Numerica Performing Art Center, to be here for another 25, 50 years. And we know, because we were on the board for so long, that the finances of the PAC are really precarious. It's a really challenging thing that they do to stay in operations, because there's just not a lot of money in it. There's a third of the budget comes from ticket sales, a third comes from sponsorship, and there's this big question mark over here where the rest of the money comes from. And it's different every year. They try to raise money through different fundraising events, but I think that there should be an endowment, a long-term, I don't want to explain what an endowment is, but I think ultimately we need some funding for long-term sustainability, and I think that these films will help the staff there in development create more long-term sustainability.
Well, audiences will get their eyes on it next Thursday, February 19th at the Numerica Performing Art Center, which is, like perfect for a premiere of a film about the place where the premiere is going to take place. How can audiences, or how can people get tickets?
Sure.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, you can definitely get tickets right at the Numerica PAC box office or online through the Numerica PAC. There's also ways to support the film just through the film's website itself, preciouslittletheater.com. And so those are great ways to continue supporting. And then it's tell your friends about it, share it with others, continue to just be an advocate for it.
And so next Thursday, 7 o'clock, it's the premiere, it's going up. Is there any future plans right now to show the film again?
Yes, we don't have that date exactly yet. I think we're going to see how the premiere goes, but hopefully we'll have an encore performance or encore screening of it down, a week or so, a couple weeks down the road.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Jeff, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah.
Colleen, thanks for joining me. I'm Josey Meats, reporter with Wenatchee World. You're watching the NCW Life channel.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units. Well, 56 minutes after the hour, we have a little bit of time. It's a beautiful morning, as the Rascals once sang. So we fired up those old PT's ears, and we thought we'd send you on your way on this Wednesday with some panning and some tilting and some zooming. And there it is, the lovely Wenatchee Valley. Yesterday just didn't quite happen, did it, weather-wise? Today is another story altogether. Lots and lots of sunshine. Still a snowflake here and there in some of our viewing area is not out of the realm of possibility, but outside of that, a lot of sunshine today, although a little on the cool side. There's the Tumwater Canyon camera looking over beautiful Leavenworth. Looks like there's some low-hanging clouds along the icicle there, not too far from downtown Leavenworth, but a gorgeous view there. Hi, Leavenworth. Wave back to me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Malcolm told me the camera was going to use. I completely forgot. That looks to be, I don't know, is that Upper Butte or Billy Goat, Mac? That is Billy Goat. Okay, good. Sometimes I get confused between the Upper Butte and Billy Goat because sometimes what you're seeing looks awfully identical at the Upper Butte camera high above Chelan, and we can point it across the Columbia and see Waterville. That's the Billy Goat camera, so that is the Columbia River and a whole bunch of real estate. And we have one more camera, Malcolm? We does. Nanapoc Ridge, a little cloudier up there. Doesn't look like the Lake Wenatchee is frozen all the way over. It does almost every year. And the Cato Glen Golf Course is now taking tee times for late April. Starting tomorrow and going through the early part of next week, we'll be showing some interviews that were conducted by some of the outstanding journalists who make up the staff of the Wenatchee World, because the Wenatchee World's annual Community Impact Awards are coming up 1 week from tomorrow at the local event center at the Pybus Public Market. These are names you're familiar with. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison will be getting the Local Hero Award. Our friend Mike Malman from Serve Wenatchee Valley, he'll be getting the Progress Award. My favorite mayor, I like to say that because it drives my brother nuts. I'm just kidding. Geraldine Crawford, the mayor of East Wenatchee, gets the Public Life and Leadership Award. Nancy and our friends at Alethea Writing Center, they're going to get some hardware. And Lisa Karstetter from Microsoft going to get some hardware as well. Hors d'oeuvres, light drinks, programs, and some video interviews that the editorial staff of the Wenatchee World did with our 5 award winners. The longer form versions of those conversations will begin airing tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Go to the Wenatchee World's website and get your tickets. The event itself is, again, 1 week from tomorrow at the local event center at the Pybus Public Market as they hand out the hardware for the, what we like to call the CIA Awards. But it doesn't stand for the Central Intelligence Agency. It means Community Impact Awards. From the National Weather Service, that way if you don't like the weather, you can blame the government. Nothing not to like here. Sunshine all day today for the most part. Maybe, just maybe, a little pop-up snowflake comes and goes. That's about it. We'll get up to about 39 degrees, which is below normal. Clouds are back tonight. Slight chance of some early morning snow tomorrow morning. Slight chance. Yesterday at this time was about a 60% chance of snow on Thursday morning. Now they say it's more like 30%. And then clouds all day on Thursday with a high of about 34. Sunshine back Friday, back up to 35, still below normal. So are the overnight lows for that matter. Getting close back up to normal by Monday and Tuesday. Snow level is going to be jumping up to about 3,000 feet by the time we get to the end of the weekend. So whatever we get down here, probably rain. That's it for us. Have a good and safe Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.